Okay, today we are going to be taking a look at the paddles from a company called Thrive. You may have heard me, Chris, John Q, and Braden from Pickleball Effect talk about them, and for good reason. These paddles are good, quite good. I personally don't think they are anything mind-blowing, but they definitely check all the boxes and in my opinion are just a bit better than a lot of other paddles out there in all the categories that most players will care about. That's pop, power, spin, touch, and maneuverability or hand speed. If you want to pre-order the AZUL or take a look at some of Thrive's current paddles, check the link and the codes in the description below. I also think a disclaimer is sort of necessary for this video and any Thrive content I might put out there, since Thrive does sponsor my good buddies, Grant Bond and Lauren Mercado, and they are kind of the ones that introduced me to Thrive. Okay, with that being said, we're going to quickly go over all the paddles and the different models, but I think what is most interesting with Thrive is that they are the first company that, at least I'm aware of, that offers customers the choice of selecting your desired swing weight and gives numbers and a little guide on the twist weight as well. To quickly refresh you, swing weight, simply put, is how heavy a paddle feels when you swing it. Twist weight, much like swing weight, is a dynamic measurement and measures how difficult or easy a paddle is to twist in your hand when making contact with the ball. This basically shows how stable a paddle feels when striking a ball. Swing weight and twist weight are not to be confused with static weight, which is the traditional weighing method that measures the weight of a paddle while it's at rest without any movement at all. You're essentially just putting the paddle on a scale. So Chris, myself, Braden, and John Q also went to a paddle fitting with Thrive to experiment and see how important those metrics can be as it pertains to your game. If you want to learn more about swing weight and twist weight, you can check out the video links in the description for more detailed information on the subject, as well as the video to the paddle fitting that we all did together with Thrive. First paddles that we are going to look at are the Threat and the Rush. Both these paddles are elongated, with the Threat coming in at 16 millimeters in thickness with a tad bit of a shorter handle at 5.3 inches, while the Rush is a 13 millimeter paddle and has a handle length of 5.5 inches. The Threat is an all-court paddle that has good touch and resets, but enough power to put away balls when you need. If you wanted a thermoformed Vanguard control, well, you're looking at it, especially if you don't mind a little bit of a heavier swing weight. Not so heavy that it's unusable, but it's definitely a tad bit heavier on average than the Vanguard control. The Rush, on the other hand, is a very fast, maneuverable paddle that has a lot of pop. The feedback on it is very crisp, and it's personally not for me, to be quite honest. I think I just prefer the more plush and dense feeling of a 16 millimeter core paddle, especially if they can get the same power and pop as their 13 millimeter counterparts. Which brings me to what you have been waiting for. Okay, these are Thrive's next group of paddles. They have a hybrid shape and design, and quite frankly, they're all very good. This is the AZUL, the Surge, and the Blackout. Now, the AZUL, I was told, should be released sometime mid-April. The other two, I'm not so sure. Let's first talk about the AZUL, since it will most likely be released first. This is a great paddle for the aggressive, firefight-loving, hand battle-having addict. It does have really great spin as well, but just from my eye test, I think the next two on this list has better spin potential in comparison. If I had to pick out the characteristics that sort of embody the AZUL, it would be speed / maneuverability and pop. So it's fast, shots come off the face very quickly, and it feels rather dense. The AZUL definitely looks the best out of the latest three paddles, at least in their current form. The blue Kevlar carbon weave and the midnight blue edge guard is subtle, but really aesthetically pleasing. Next up, we have the Surge. It's essentially the Threat in a hybrid shape that is quicker to move in the hand. It uses just raw carbon fiber in the face, and the main traits to describe this paddle I would choose would be touch and spin. Don't get it twisted though, this thing still packs a punch. I actually played with a prototype of the Surge this winter and won an open division singles Moneyball tournament with it. So if it's good enough for me for singles, it's probably good enough for you, or packs enough power for you. It's pretty much a double black diamond on crack, but with more spin and more juice. If I had to choose one to be the go-to paddle of the three, I'd probably pick the Surge. It's just really player friendly in my opinion, and probably just the best overall package for most players. All right, speaking of juice, that brings us to the Blackout. This one is actually, I think, my favorite of the bunch. It uses fiberglass in the composite and still has a rough peel ply texture. The focus on the Blackout is definitely power and spin, being the most poppy and also on average the heaviest between the Surge and the AZUL. It can definitely be unforgiving. On your good days though, you will feel unstoppable. I think the reason I like this one is because it's essentially a black diamond on steroids. And some of you who know me and have followed me know that I really like the black diamond from 6-0. And the blackout is just a souped up black diamond. It's probably just a tad more powerful than the black diamond pro. And I kind of want to quickly compare it to the Azul because I would kind of categorize like both the Azul and the blackout as power paddles, with the Azul kind of leaning just slightly towards all court a little bit, you know, not as powerful as the blackout. But I think that the Azul actually has a little bit more pop off the paddle face, a little bit more speed off the paddle face than the blackout, but they're very similar. I would say the main difference is primarily the feedback or the feel in the hand. The Azul feels very dense but also lively at the same time, whereas the blackout feels stiff by comparison. I definitely think it has more power, like from the baseline when you drive the ball, you can really feel that power being transferred to the ball. But when it comes to pop, it doesn't feel as lively as the Azul, but they're honestly very, very similar. But I think on average, the blackout is a little bit heavier or has a higher swing weight. So if you want to maximize or optimize your speed for your game, for hand battles, I would choose the Azul over the blackout. Okay, there is your first look at Thrive's latest paddles. Like, sub, comment for more content. Till next time, play better. Peace.